All right, ladies and gentlemen, Memphis Matters is on the air, and I'm your girl, Dee Dee Corn. On today, we have Miss Brenda Lee Eager. She is in the house. How you doing today, Brenda?
Well, I'm doing great now. Now that I got you, I'm doing great.
Only thing we can do is keep doing what we do. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and look, we're learning this technology. I tell you, we're learning it.
And it's a good thing we're learning it because everybody's not.
I know. Do you know I have friends? Oh, I don't want to do that. I'm learning all I can learn.
That's the best thing. I have an auntie, my great grand auntie's 91, be 92 this year. She's a state legislator. And honey, her phone is about this big, but she does what she do. Matter of fact, I sent her a link to join us today. I wish because she knows she loves your music. Folks know your music. But thank you so much for joining us today. And today,
so glad to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Tell me about yourself. Just let's talk about Brenda Eager, the lady that walked in there with Jerry Butler, did one take, and bang, it blew up.
And it blew up. Hey. Yeah. Well, my career started being a songwriter, singer-songwriter. I've been writing music, writing songs. Well, I wrote poetry when I was in the 3rd grade. The kids would go out at recess and play, and I would be back in there in the room writing on a brown piece of paper bag, trying to write poetry. My 3rd grade teacher called me Granny because she said I acted like an old woman. But my mind was geared toward, writing songs or writing poetry. I used to go to my grandfather's pasture, and there was a big meadow. There was this big green spot with one tree. And I would go and lean up against that oak tree, and I would say, I'm going to sing and write songs. And by the time I was in the 9th grade, I was writing all kinds of songs. I was writing songs like Motown. I wanted to be like Motown. But now this was in Alabama. This was in Mobile, Alabama. So I was a long way from Detroit. But I heard a song by Smokey Robinson that made me know I was going to be a songwriter. It was like a snowball rolling down the side of a snow-covered hill. It's growing like the size of a fish that the man claimed broke his reel. Mental imagery. You could see the song. So I knew I had to paint pictures like that. I had to put the imagery. So when you hear the song, you see the song. So I learned writing from Smokey, but I went all the way back to Cole Porter in the 40s. I went back to Gershwin in the 30s. And I just wanted to learn everything about putting songs together with words, music, and groove and chords, and I just love what I do. I've been doing it 50 years.
You're so blessed. You're so blessed to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So blessed.
Oh, I know, honey. I know. I coach. I coach younger. Well, I coach everybody on how to use their voice, how to write songs, because I believe if you get a good foundation, it'll never leave you. You can write a song even in today's music. I use the same principles that I wrote 20, 30 years ago. That's the principles of writing a great song, having those components, lyric, chord changes, music, and color and passion and all those things that goes in that song. You're supposed to feel the song as much as you hear it.
And when you mentioned Smokey Robinson, he's got one of those stellar voices, always identifiable. Always. And it's a song he said. It's a song he did with Tina Marie, "Cruise Control."
Oh, really?
You remember that? We're running on cruise control. It's something he did with Tina Turner. I ain't finna try to sing right now. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. Especially in no falsetto voice.
I hear you though. I hear your voice.
You do.
I can hear it. I hear that voice in there. So
It needs to be coached, trained.
I'm actually starting a coaching class on Saturdays. You can look up BrendaEager.com. It's called Soul Singing Sessions with Brenda Eager.
I went there. Is
Oh,
it
good.
50, is it 55 per session? Because it seemed like I saw
No, 35.
35.
Mm-hmm. I said I'm gonna put it low so everybody can do it.
And this is once a week, 35?
For 5 weeks.
For $35 for 5 weeks.
No, it's each 35.
I'm gonna say, let me sign up right now.
No, let's get that clear. 35 each week. Yes.
Okay.
From 11 o'clock LA time to 12:30. So you're gonna get an hour and a half of us breaking it down for you. And my producer is one of my best friend's daughters. Her name is Wendy Vaughn, and her mother is the lead singer for The Emotions, one of The Emotions.
Oh, wow, I like them.
So I think we're gonna have this Wanda, dinner's ready, and the wine is chilled. We're gonna have her come on.
Baby's coming over. All I know is how it feels. Girl.
Woo, I love that song.
Me too. I'm getting chills. I'm singing with Brenda Eager. Who would ever thought that album?
What I like. Come on back. I'm not ready to let you go.
Yeah. I never let you go.
Yeah, all right. So we kind of grew up together.
Wait a minute, I gotta do this part right here. Stay right here, baby. Yeah. Okay, I'm ready.
I can't let you go.
People don't know what they've missed, honey. Because back in those days, they were singing good songs. They was writing good music. I mean, music was real.
Well, that's why we remember them today, because they were great songs, and you had great singers with passion, with heart, that delivered that song to you where you never forget it. You never forget it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then, of course, I had my days in the civil rights movement.
That's what I like to talk to you about, those things. So as an artist, during a time where racial tensions were really high, what role did you play in that?
I'm so glad you asked that question. There's actually a movie being made right now about my life and my best friend's life, 50 years of friendship during and activists during the civil rights movement. What we did in the late 60s, we joined a choir called Operation Breadbasket.
I remember that.
In Chicago, headed up by Reverend Jesse Jackson. There were 126 member choir, but he pulled 4 girls out of the choir to travel with him and a 21-piece orchestra.
Whoa.
He named us the Piperettes of Freedom. We went with him in every city and helped to elect the first mayors and congressmen of the United States.
Awesome.
We would go, he would, early in the morning, 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, we would meet up and he would speak and we would sing and the band would play. And after that, we would take to the streets and go from door to door, knocking on people's houses to get them to come out and vote. We would knock on their door early in the morning and we'd say, we came here to help you get your mayor elected. Carl Stokes needs you. And sometimes, sometimes, oh man, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. He want me to, and we would say, but we've come here from Chicago, Illinois, all the way from Chicago to help you get this man elected. Surely you can come down on the corner and give your vote. So the people started coming out and we did it. We did it in Cleveland. We did it in New Jersey with Kenneth Gibson. We did it in Baltimore with Perrin Mitchell. We did it in Indiana with Richard Hatcher. These all were first-time Black mayors and Congress. Walter Fauntroy in Washington, D.C. We 4 girls was right there on the stage when they won. We were there with Jesse when they won. So I've used my voice as a place for change, for inspiration. Marvin Gaye was a really good friend of mine. And he said to me one day, he said, Brenda, it is the duty of the artist to raise the consciousness of the people. To me, that was everything. And that was over 38 years ago. I'm like, I got to do that with my life. I've got to just inspire people to be more of themselves, who they are. And that's what I do in my musical classes. I go down deep and pull out you, because there's a singer in you. You're not giving it. I want you to give that 100% of who you are. And sometimes we don't know what we have.
Exactly.
So we pull it up, and then we can shape it and mold it. And when you pull it up, you can stand in that power that's greater than all of us. Stand in that foundation. And from there, you can do all the things you want to do.
Awesome. Awesome. You know, it's really important that we share this type of information with people about who was part of the civil rights movement. Because guess what? They still here. It ain't been that long that we've been kind of set free.
Wait a minute. I was telling a friend of mine yesterday. I said, they asked me, well, are you going to go see the Black Messiah, the story of
Judas, that movie?
Yeah. And I said, no. I don't really need to see it because I was there that morning. I was right down the street that morning when they were shot. We were all waking up.
Tell me what was going on, because I don't have any information about the movie. I just know it's about. Okay.
Fred Hampton was a 21-year-old, brilliant. He was the leader of the Black Panthers in Chicago.
And I lived in Chicago during that time off of 71st Street.
Oh, I lived off 48th and Lake Park.
I know what that is.
And I lived in Lake Meadows before then. When I first got married, I lived in Lake Meadows. But these guys were so powerful, and they weren't teaching hate. They were teaching, you've done me wrong, and I want you to answer for it. They had feeding programs on Saturdays. Sometimes we go from the meeting on, because Breadbasket, Reverend Jackson had a meeting on Saturdays, every Saturday, at the Capitol Theater in Chicago called Operation Breadbasket, which later became Operation Push.
Right.
And it headed up the economic arm of SCLC. And our job back then were getting jobs and opening up jobs for Blacks, and also to like Revlon and those places that wouldn't hire Blacks. We picketed Walgreens until Walgreens started hiring Blacks. We picketed Revlon and just everything that we could do, whoever it was. Okay, we're gonna do this week. Revlon, they're not hiring Blacks. We go, we sit in, we march. And I was so young, but I was caught up in wanting to do it, want to be a part of that movement. And now that this movie is being made, it's like I look back and said, the reason I didn't want to see the movie because we're walking history.
Right.
We live that. It's not something we got to read about or go see a movie about. I was a few blocks down when that boy was killed. They came in his house at 5:30 in the morning. They were asleep and they were slaughtered in their sleep.
What?
So I know if I saw that
and
movie,
for what reason?
Just because they were Black Panthers and they were trying to wipe them out. And they did.
My mother got out of Chicago. She said she was tired of all the violence. I remember as a young girl, 71st Street was a melting pot of different cultures.
Yeah.
And like not far from the lake, as you know, off of Jeffrey. And
okay.
Yeah. And I was, as a little girl, I was witnessing so much. Yeah. And my grandfather had a shoe shop on 63rd Street.
Okay.
And they were, to be Black people, it was something else. That time. Yeah. And I was a very young person, but that time was something else. One thing I've noticed in life is that our leaders and our matriarchs and our legends, are living.
That's what I'm saying, girl.
Back in the day, you made it to 45,
And
or
you were
you may
gone.
make, you were gone. You were gone.
You were gone. You were gone.
You were gone. Nowadays, people are living much, much longer.
That's right. I remember at the meetings at Breadbasket Girl, we'd sing every Saturday. Reverend Clay Evans would come from Fellowship Church and he would be singing, and the four of us would be singing, and the choir would be singing. And on any given day, and you'll see this when you see the film, but there would be Sammy Davis Jr., Harry Belafonte, Bill Cosby, Robert Culp, Nancy Wilson, Quincy Jones, all these mega stars would be there every Saturday because we were popping so hot at that time. We were getting work done, getting major work done. So that's what the movie is about. It's called Soul Sisters, about
Soul sisters.
entertainers that are activist entertainers. So, and still today, Patty and I, we go in schools. I go in schools and share stories with youngsters so that they don't know that, we are really still here to tell the stories. And I tell everybody, tell your story because it's valid. I don't care where you come from or what you do. Talk to the young people and tell them because they need to know whose shoulders they're standing
on.
Then
exactly.
If they do that, they have some pride in themselves. They want to be better. They want to prove that they too can be somebody you can look up to. And we have some brilliant young people today. Brilliant.
We do. The sad part about, and I don't want to talk about the sadness, but
it's real though. It's real.
It is real. It is so real. And I think that what we need to do is start finding ways of educating people in song. A lot of these people.
That's exactly, you took it out of my mouth. You're right. I've written a children's CD, and it's all about empowering children when they're like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, letting them know how great they are.
Yes.
How perfect they are. I don't care who your mom and daddy are, where you come from, if you're living with your grandmother, but doesn't matter. You are a spiritual being here. You're perfect. You're made in the image of God. You're wonderful. So, and these kids, their spirit catches on to it. Mm-hmm. I've got one song to my little, and when I teach it to them, you should see the pride that comes up out of these kids, girl. The little girls will put their hands on their hips like they know who they are. But the song is simply, I just love being me.
I love it.
Yes, sirree. There ain't nobody else. And they repeat me, there ain't nobody else.
I'm about doing it too.
I'd rather be, and they go, I said, now come on, say, I'd rather be. And they fall into it, and they just, from the top of my head, to the sole of my feet.
To the sole of my feet.
That's what they do.
Uh-huh. I love
being me. I just love being me. Yes, sirree. There ain't nobody else I'd rather be. From the top of my head to the sole of my feet. I just love being me. And so there's a whole song and songs that was written for them. They don't have to, they love Beyonce songs, but these songs are made especially for them, to empower them. And what I find, because I've been teaching these songs for 20 years, what I find is when you teach a kid that young, it goes home and he sings it to his mama. And before you know it, the mama and the baby are singing songs that bring them together.
And it takes a sound.
Yes.
Just a sound,
That's it.
And
that young mother, I'm sorry, honey.
Oh, that's okay.
That young mother who might have said, bring your ass on. I wish I never had you. Instead of that, she's saying, Don't you love?
Yes, that's it.
You know?
Yep.
So if I can change or just be an instrument in changing the way the young mothers feel about themselves through the kids. If the kids go home saying, what do I like about me? Every little thing I see.
I like that now.
My
I
head,
like
my
that.
eyes, my teeth. Woo, that's what I like about me. So there are songs that make them feel good about themselves. And they'll feel good about, that mother will feel good about herself. And she'll tell her, girl, my kid came home singing this little song. And before you know it, it's starting to, I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen.
I'm gonna let you know. I mean, you know that you know that you know anyway, but it's so true. I used to teach school, and you know, being that I studied music and everything, I would control my class sound, and I
Yeah,
would get them to echo me. We would say like if I'm dealing with some young folks and I'm teaching them half a note, a quarter note, and I go, okay, echo me. We're gonna go T T T T T, and they'll go T T T T T, and I go ta like for a half note ta, ta, you know, and even if you're not even teaching music,
right.
if you can touch that child, what you're saying.
That's
And
right.
that child will go, because I would open up my classroom. I greet this day with love in my heart. Now tell me why.
Oh, yeah.
And they would raise their little hands and then they would go home. I would tell them, I greet this day with love in my heart because it's my greatest secret and it's my greatest weapon. Because when I use it, you're fighting me and I'm using love. Guess who wins? I do, because it's invisible. Now you go home and you remember that. I greet this day with love in my heart. They ran home. They told their mothers. Now, the parents start coming up to the classroom because they're wondering why. Who is this lady that got my child all,
That's what I'm talking about. Woo! Girl, you think, woo, yeah.
killed, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't realize how powerful we are. God gave us this gift here, the gift of words and music and love. When you place love on top of that, you can change the world.
All right now. Y'all heard it live right here with Dee Dee Cohen on Memphis Matters from Miss Brenda Lee Eager. I'm only too pleased to have such a phenomenal Black woman in the house. Civil rights activist, role model for me and everybody they want to be. So I want all of you all, when you see this, know this, that Miss Eager teaches voice lessons. She shared with us that she has a film coming out. And I want you all to contact her. Let me see if I got her number here. You can reach out to her on Facebook. It's a
Facebook,
Soul
YouTube,
Session.
Facebook.
So it's Soul Sessions Singers.
Yeah, Soul Singing Sessions.
Soul Singing Sessions.
SSS. Let's take care of this.
All right then. Love you, Miss Eager. We're gonna do this again. Isn't this fun?
This
Once we did it.
much too quickly. So invite me back again.
I'll do it next week, okay? Yeah, we're gonna get you out there. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to have so much greatness and it's not being shared. It's not fair.
We just want the kids to, I just want people to know how special they are. Because when you know your own power, when you know who you are, you're not afraid of anything because first of all, you got that whole armor around you. Mm-hmm. So we are protected, and it's time that we be all that God intended us to be.
Amen. And she's going to help me be that because she's going to teach me how to find their voice in my voice.
But it's already there. I tell my students, you already have what you need. I'm just here to show you the avenue, the roadmap to bring it up. But it's already within you.
Tell us that Cash App. Tell us how we can pay you. You know, how do we? I know some people may just see this. Okay, they may not go to Soul Sessions, but they do need to know how to contact you.
Email me at Brenda Eager Music. I can tell you how to pay through PayPal, Cash App, Zelle. I got it all.
What's the Cash App?
Cash App is, I think it's my phone number, 213 453-0113.
Okay. All right, dear. Until next time.
I love you. Take care of yourself.
Thank you for loving me. Love you too,
Absolutely.
dear.
It's easy.
Oh.
All right,
Bye-bye.
bye bye.